Sup, guys. We're here for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. You guys asked me to do Ghostrick, so I'm bringing you Ghostricks. Key thing here is, though, I'm not using Speedroy Terror Top in this build. I'm only using Ghostrick Pure, so that way if someone wants to replicate the deck, they can replicate the deck themselves. I don't like saying that deck. My opponent is playing some weird variant of Blue Eyes Chaos Max with Creature Swap. I don't really know why, but let me just talk about Lord of Darkness real quick. Some people don't like it in Ghostricks. I love it in Ghostricks. It gives me massive amounts of draws into apparently more. So, double Floodgate Trap Hole, Ghostrick Go Around, and Sandstorm Mirror Force face down with a Jack Frost in hand and the field up. I know some people don't like the field either, but honestly, it gives you like 16,000 life points. What's not to love? And then, of course, I have Dull, which he can't attack, but he could swap monsters, so I'm like, okay, that's a thing. Let's do this then. Attack directly for 300. Why the hell not? Because it's going to be cut in half. If you're not familiar with this card, basically any damage that's dealt by any monster that's not a Ghostrick monster is going to be cut in half. So Chaos Max Dragon is pretty much a good reason why I was running it. But my opponent's just going for that Blue Eyes plays, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna flip you face up and flip him face down because I just don't like the Blue Eyes, more. It's not a deck I wouldn't like anymore. So I go for Ghostrick Knight, which is another card people don't like, but I tend to like it because of the simple fact that once his monsters are face down and I have a Ghostrick face up, they ain't ever coming back up. That's a beautiful thing. He goes for White Spirit. That's a pretty smart move. Goes after the field. That's not so smart of a move, but Ghostrick Go Around tries to attack. Everything's going down, and I'm getting a free monster in the form of Witch, which will help me establish the whole stay down, just stay down kind of situation that I'm trying to build here, and just going to quickly. I don't know why I did that at all. I probably should have just decked in for the field, but hey, it is what it is, right? So I have Quaking Mirror Force face down, but now he can make a rank 8 or whatnot, whatever he chooses to, but he chooses to attack. So just Quaking Mirror Force, and I get free search. That's the ruling for you. I should have just went for Mansion right off the bat and could have ended the game there, but he scoops here because he pretty much knows what's coming, which is an alley card with this bitch, and yeah, it would have been gnarly as hell, but he knew he wasn't going to win that one, no disrespect to him. This is against Magna Warders, and this was a really interesting duel, to say the least, because I'm not too familiar with the deck. I want to start messing with it. And to be completely honest, I have so much backlog of what you guys want me to do. I kind of get, I kind of put it off, but it should be coming fairly soon, as I said on the Facebook post. It should be not too far out, considering that I'm basically researching a deck now, so maybe about 3 weeks or so. Maybe a little bit more, it depends, because I try to get comfortable with a deck where I can completely understand it, and I know exactly what I'm talking about. He's going to Solemn Strike my Dull, Rip-a-Roni. It's okay, I got Spectre. I pick up a free card, and I set my Jiangshi, so next turn we can get this going. But he's got that Gamma Warrior, and I'm like, okay, why would you attack into my monster? Oh, because you want to bounce it back, but you gave me free search, which is pretty much what I was after, so now I can use the Lord of Darkness, Swords of Concealing, and he's going to trigger everything off, because that's going to go for that warrior, and then everything's going to go face down. By the way, anyone's wondering about Giant Soldier of Steel, it's unaffected by other monster effects, and once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach when exceeded and gains 1,000 defense as the end phase. It's got 2,000, so that puts it at 3,000. Obviously, it's unaffected by monster effects. It's okay. It's interesting. I don't want to call it bad, but I just don't see the usability. But Ghostrick Knight, Swords of Concealing Light, combo wombo, he's locked outside of making like 1 rank 3 or 1 rank 4 or whatever, but he goes for this here. I'm like, why is he not attacking her? That's prime opportunity here. I don't know why he didn't, but hey, summon Witch, go face down, and he scoops. The thing to remember in that last one is he could have easily made a nice comeback, but because of the field card, I probably would have still won, to be completely honest, but I'm just saying he probably could have. So I'm setting up the Parade, so Parade can get me search, but my opponent knows. He knows, so he just sets 4. And at this point, I'm like, oh crap, it's a set 4. So put double Jiangshi face down and wait till next turn, make an alley card just to see, Here comes the Ragged Gloves and whatnot, Phantom Break Sword. I'm going to Endless Trap Hole that, Floodgate Trap Hole that face down so it can't activate, but he plays the Phantom Spear, so anytime one is targeted for effect, he's going to basically burn me for 500. I'm going to pop the back row and then just end turn there with an alley card face up because I have Lantern. So I'm feeling pretty okay here. He goes for the Dark Exceed Rebel. I pretty much predicted something like this was going to happen. So play the Lantern so that way this can't, no worries about that, to say the least. I could pop his monster now if I wanted to, but I'm going to set Quaking Mirror Force and overlay into my Searcher, and that's pretty much why I waited, because once I saw PK, I'm like, alright, Dark Exceed Rebel Dragon is pretty damn popular in this deck. Go for double search and swing directly, put in damage, and I'm actually doing pretty okay against PK so far. So I'm like expecting this deck to go off, and now I got the Ghostrick Knight up. So yeah, it's pretty much a lock on the board. And then when Dullahan's and Alucard or detaches and materials, you can see what happens there. It's a beautiful thing. All the surge power once the deck gets its ball rolling, and that's gonna be game. Let me show you what happens. And I don't mean to like insult anyone who thinks otherwise. That this deck is quicker than it actually is. Like if you run card demise, it is. To some degree, I'm trying to say if this is card demise build. It is not a card demise build. It's an interesting build. However, this was a super long grind game, so I'm just going to let it play while I talk over it. He goes for the Trap Trick Succeed. At that point, I'm just like, okay, I'm not really worried about it. I play Swords Concealing. He's got Anti-Spell. I'm like, that doesn't really hurt me too much outside of my field cards, so that's alright. He goes for the Volcanimus. I think that's its proper name, and overlays that to Triviere, which does the bounce. And this is what I was talking about in the Invasion Vengeance video, where we were talking about some of the stuff from the set. That's why that card is so good, because if you only have 2 Tellarknights on the board and you can't get to that third one, you can't burn out that third one, you're getting Trivia 10 times easier than you typically would. And then obviously that you can bounce shit back and go from there, which is lovely. And he's going to keep ripping cards from my hand, and he goes for Diamond at the end of the turn because he knows I can't jump over it. So I'm like, alright, I got to set everything on the board, put her in defense mode. I could have went for Search and just put up Field, but I decided against it for whatever reason. It was like 1 a.m. when I was actually having this game. He goes for a Trivia. I'm like, let me just put this face down because that's rather annoying. I lose out on my Exceeds, which isn't so good. The tide is starting to turn because I thought I had a lock. I thought I had what I needed, but apparently not. Fucking Trivia is too fucking good. I like to jokingly call it Trivium for obvious reasons, if you get that reference. But he goes for the Altair Deneb. I'm deciding not to go for Scare there because of the simple fact that I don't think it's really going to matter. But I go for Scare here regardless. Flip 2 face down, thinking, okay, I prevented his monster from coming up as long as I keep these guys face up. Go for Dullahan. He Solemn Warnings my lady, and I'm kind of rather sad because now I can't keep the lock on the board, and he could just pretty much go Triviere again and do the whole thing. Put his monster face down, feeling pretty okay about it now, and then he goes for Castell, taking out the Knight so everything can go face up. Very smart play on his behalf. And then obviously Quaking Mirror Force, now you're stuck back face down, and he goes for Cyrus, putting 5 back, which one of this is actually pretty okay because of that stupidity where you just like, he goes for Vanity's Emptiness, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna Raigeki here, which I had face down, and I'm like, I know I'm in a terrible situation, but let me keep fighting. So I just put Ghostrick Knight down, and I'm like somehow predicting that he's gonna make a Trivia play, and obviously you can see that happening. Cyrus effect, Altair effect, Vega's effect, it's all going off. It's lovely. I like this guy's monster lineup. Would I play the exact monster lineup? Probably not, but I do like it regardless. It's interesting to say the least. He goes for Trivia, bounce everything back, and I'm like, alright, let me just get this Mary in my hand. He rips the fucking Mary out of my hand, and I'm like, god damn, I needed that shit so badly. Set everything again. He plays Genesis, which this is their themed like MST, which threw me off because I wasn't expecting that to be played, to be completely fair, but it doesn't really matter because at this point he's got advantage over me to the point that it's going to be game once he decides, okay, it's going to be game. But he constantly bounces everything back, goes for Deneb, Deneb search into Altair, and just it's so dumb because I like set Quaking Mirror Force and all he's gonna do is go Vega into Altair, Altair into Shazam. I like to call it Shazam. I take 1,000 burn because that kills me faster. Goes for Trivium, bounces the Altair to hand, rips the card from my hand, and just look at this hand advantage. Fucking Terror Knights for days, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my god, this is a great game," but I'm just a little tiny bit salty at the trivia loop because of constant bringing it back and bouncing everything. But he goes for Deltaros at this point just to pretty much end the game. So GG to him. He took the win there. That was pretty much my main loss. So here's the deck profile for you guys because I know you wanted pure Ghostricks. If you want the Speedroid Ghostricks, I can work on that. I think there's even PK Ghostricks is viable because they're both dark archetypes and you have the 3s to work with, so there's that too. There's plenty of ways of taking it. A few minor things I wish I would have shown in the video. F-Zero going off because I'd never really summoned it, even though against meta decks, obviously, as long as you can slow the pace down, you'll summon it and then be able to do it. Obviously against regular PK, not BA PK, like, you know, PK Fire, I didn't do that situation. Phantom Knight Breaksword, I don't know about this. I just basically use it as a direwolf, so it doesn't come out too often because Alucard just puts in the work. So I may rip this out for Succubus just to have Ghostrick Succubus to make Angel off of. I'm not quite sure. I'm still deciding on that part. Fortune Tune was great against a burn player. It pissed them off to like no end. That constant gain 500. The constant, I take less damage. It was beautiful. Made him rage quit, but I didn't feel the replay was up to quality, up to snuff when it came to everything. Lastly, I want to say I would probably drop Quaking Mirror Force down by 1 for another Mirror Force, not regular Mirror Force, but another Mirror Force, and I may drop Go Around down to 1 for another Mirror Force. Probably Air Force or Drowning Mirror Force. One of the, I think, is it Air Force and TCG? I always forget the name, but it's the one that bounces back to hand. Either which one, I'm deciding on it right now. The deck's been working out, so okay, but this is the one thing I really do want to change, is drop that down to 1. So, 3 Jingxi, 1 Witch. Witch is pretty much to set up the lock with, where is it, Ghostrick Knight. I absolutely love that combo. It's disgusting. Double Dull, triple Jack Frost, triple Lantern, triple Spectre, triple Mary. Because Spectre, he used to be regarded as crap, but the thing is, he speeds the deck up quite a little bit once your Ghostrick is destroyed. So, hey, free flotation. 3 Allure of Darkness for those times you don't need that Ghostrick in hand. You can just banish it out and go from there. 1 Raigeki. It's pretty much staple for most decks. Again, most decks. Double Swords of Concealing Lights, 1 Ghostrick Parade, and Double Mansion. Obviously, no back row hate because they're all little midgets. And I'm really not worried too much about back row hate. Against the Teller Knights, I probably would have been, to be completely fair. And there was a lot of times I kind of wish I had Twin Twister and just go, oh yeah, let me just play Twin Twister to that. But it is what it is. It happens. And it was the only real situation that ever occurred to me like, hey, I really miss Twin Twister right now. But probably that and Demise decks. Those are the only 2 times you ever really want Twin Twister, so I'd probably side it. Ghostrick Parade is basically if you can't get your deck rolling off Allure of Darkness or whatnot, and you draw into this, then you just set it up and then basically let them poke you. And once they poke you, then you get free, or attempt to poke you, you can get Lantern, protect yourself, and go from there. You're pretty much just giving yourself free cards off this. Mansion, I know not everyone likes this card, but honestly, having that like 16,000 life point gauge is so good for Ghostricks because they play really slow. So that's one of the main reasons I put that in, included it. 3 Quaking Mirror Force. Quaking Mirror Force is so good in this deck because it's like indirect support with Floodgate Trap Hole, obviously, because I want everything to stay face down permanently. That's kind of the point. 1 Ghostrick Vanish, because one's okay. I'm not super big on it, but hey, if you know your opponent's playing something that's going to pop a lot of crap or target a lot of crap, this is a pretty okay card. I'm still not a big fan of it, but it did put in the work. So, double Ghostrick Scare. 3 clogs currently. 2 is a good number. I may, I may swap it out, but I feel 2 of the Drowning Mirror Force may do better, especially with, Mansion being a thing. Like, oh, you want to attack me directly? Go back to your deck. That's just kind of my concept on that. And then 2 Ghostrick Knight, because Ghostrick Knight, once you have something face down, you can permanently pretty much keep it face down the board. Extra deck is really standard with 1 Downward Magician, 3 Ghostrick Angel of Mischief, the 1 Phantom Knight of Breaksword, the 1 Nightmare Shark, because this thing does steal games. Can't stress that enough. The 1 Super Quantum Mecha Beast, Grand Pulse, that's how I do it back row currently, and Ghostrick Alucard, 1 Fortune Tune. There's 2 Ghostrick Alucard. 1 Sky Cavalry, 3 Ghostrick Dollar Hand, and 1 number F-Zero Utopic Future. As I said, I may drop Breaksword for Succubus, so that way if Sky Cavalry and Succubus are on the board, I could easily make a Utopic Future, which would have been great in a few situations. So definitely things I'm looking at to obviously, alter to the deck for the future. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe for more if you're new. And if you're already subscribed, let me know what decks you want to see next, so that way I can start working on them. I know Magna Warriors is a big one. I'm working around the clock to get it done. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll make sure to check back on the next video for your... What am I even saying? Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Simple as that. Peace.